Is it better now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So let's just draw a picture, then you will see how it goes. Okay. So this is the pendulum. All right. And then it will go through the midpoint. Right? And you are looking for the speed. So let's say this is the lowest point it can get, because at midpoint, the pendulum is at the lowest point, right? We all know that when it's at height, this have only, when it at rest, right? It only have potential energy. When it's at lowest point, you will only have kinetic energy. So it's the same type of problem as earlier. You have to find out the potential energy, and then it will equivalent to entire kinetic energy, right? And if we have the kinetic energy, we can find out its speed. And let me tell you, you will definitely have this question on the test, and I will consider is one of the hard question, okay? So, in order to find potential energy, you have to find m, g, h. Your g is given to you. Your m is 2, right? What is your h?
Height. So.
Do you have a number of that height?
It gives the length, but.
That's right.
Okay.
It gives you a length, which is 1.2, but it does not tell you the height, right? This is the height we're looking for. Okay? So basically, but you also know you're holding it at an angle of 22 degree to the vertical and release it. So that means we have 22 degree right here. Okay? And this, the total of the length when it reached the midpoint is still 1.2, because when it reached the midpoint, it's at the lowest point and it's vertical to the horizontal, to the ground. So in order to find the actual height when you have it, you have to find, let me use a different color. You have to find this little side. So we can use 1.2, subtract the red side, you will get the question mark side. Okay? How do we find the little red side? The little red side is cosine 22 degree times 1.2. All right? Because the red side is the adjacent, so we use cosine. So 22 cosine times 1.2 is actually 1.113 or 1.13. 1.113. So if you use 1.2 subtract 1.113 is equal to 0.087. 0.087, which is the height. Okay? And once you have the height, you can find your PE, potential energy. Your potential energy is equal to mass, which is 2 kilograms, times your gravity, which is 10, times 0.087, and give you 1.75. So 1.75, which is the potential energy and also the kinetic energy at the lowest point. All right. So we know kinetic energy is equal to half mv squared. And then we have the kinetic energy, 1.75, which is equal to 1/2 times 2 times v squared. And you do v squared is equal to square root of 1.75, because 2 and 2 here cancel out. So your v is equal to 1.32. Okay, and we can double check our answer. And that's correct.
Wait, Mrs. Shane, on the bottom right, what is this potential energy equals? Is that like 21G?
2 kilograms. That's the mass.
Oh,
So I just plug in.
I said 21G.
Yeah, 2 kilograms. So okay. I just plug in the number. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Do you need more time to write this down?
Just can I have a minute?
Sure.
All right.
All right, so the next question. The mass is 2 grams and 8 grams are moving with equal kinetic energy. Calculate the ratio of magnitude as their linear momentum. So the ratio is a fraction. Okay. What you need to do is actually calculate their kinetic energy, which you can get a V, and using the V multiply your mass, and you can get your momentum. So if they're moving at equal kinetic energy, let's just assume their kinetic energy is 10. Okay, I don't want to use a 2 of big number. So if their kinetic energy is 10, since kinetic energy is half mv squared, right? So you can find the first v. So it's 10 equal half times 2 times v squared. So you can find the first v as v equal square root of 10. Okay? And then the second v1. So the second kinetic energy is still 10, right? But this time we're consider mass number 2. So 10 equal half times 8 times V2. All right, so V equal square root of 5/2 equal root 10/2. Well, you have to rationalize it. So if we plug in number, the momentum of first one is m1 v1, right? Our m is 2, our v is root 10, so you will get 2 root 10. The momentum of the second one is m2 v2 equal to, our mass is 8, multiply root 10/2. You will get 4 root 10. So the ratio of the first and the second, right? You divide 2 root 10 over 4 root 10. So root 10 cancel out, and simplify 2/4 is 1/2. And your answer should be B.